So this is Danny Flexon here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by my good friend and top trainer, manager, promoter. Nothing this man can't do. Cole Greaves. Cole, how are you?
I'm okay, Danny.
Glad to hear it. I would hope better than okay after the weekend you've had. Another great win in the bag for David Avanesyan, your European welterweight champion, fifth time retaining that title. What did you make of it? What were you expecting more, I guess, from Oskari Metz?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was unbeaten, 15-0, a bit of an unknown quantity, really. We didn't really know what we was going to get. I only saw one fight of him. He looked very capable, but this is the difference between, obviously, European level and world level, and I believe David's on that world level, you know what I mean? He's just a level above this European now, and he's proved it. 6 stoppages now in a row. All against decent operators, mate. Obviously, Josh Kelly's been in that mix, and Kermit Jaraga, Liam Taylor, all decent fighters, good fighters, and he's just taking them apart. And this kid has been added to that mix.
Does it worry you at all as the trainer that when he does get his WBC eliminator, and we can talk about that in a minute, it's going to be quite a big step up, not just in terms of quality, but also in terms of the amount of rounds, because he's not been able to get the rounds in just because he's so dominant at European level?
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the rounds because he's a super fit kid. You know what I mean? Never out of the gym, lives a clean life, don't drink, don't smoke, don't take drugs. He's an ultimate professional. So I'm not worried about the rounds. You know what I mean? He prepares well, gets good sparring, good training, and no, I mean, like you say, but yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between the European level and the world level. There's a big gap. I believe David's world level, but I mean, he needs a test. He needs to be fighting this WBC final eliminator to give him the opportunity to fight for the world title. And obviously, having that test for the WBC final eliminator, if he comes through that well, then he deserves his chance and his world title shot.
Where are we at with that? I'll say we, I'm not part of the team, but where are you at with that, and Neil and everyone else? How far down the rankings have you gone so far?
Well, as far as I'm aware, we're just waiting for the WBC to order somebody. I mean, obviously, Virgil Ortiz pulled out. He went the WBO route, and unfortunately, it didn't happen for him at the weekend because he come down with an illness. So, number 3 is Keith Thurman. I mean, by rights, the WBC should order David Avanesyan versus Keith Thurman with the winner facing, obviously, the winner of Spencer Nugas. But we don't know. I mean, it's a strange situation. You know what happens in boxing politics and waiting around and that. But I don't know where we're at, to be fair. That's as far as I understand, that's the next step. I mean, obviously, David fights for the WBC final eliminator.
Keith Thurman, incredibly talented fighter, but perhaps more vulnerable than some of his counterparts as well. What would you make of that as a fight for David? How does that measure up?
Yeah, I really fancy that fight for David. I think it's a good one, style-wise as well. He'll come and have a go, and he'll be in David's face, and I think he's ready for the taking as well. I mean, he's not had much activity himself. You know what I mean? He vacated the WBA title. Incidentally, David could have fought him at one stage. He decided to vacate to fight Danny Garcia, so David ended up fighting Lamont Peterson. He got upgraded as WBA champion and went in there as a champion against Lamont Peterson. So that fight could have happened a couple of years ago. But no, I really like that fight. I always have done for David. I think it's a good one, and I'm hoping that's the one that gets ordered.
Tell us the differences between David now and the guy who fought Lamont Peterson, Shane Mosley, back then.
He just grew into a solid, proper welterweight. His confidence is sky high after all these stoppages. I mean, going out to Bilbao to defeat someone like Kermit Jaraga, you know what I mean? His confidence has just gone through the roof. I mean, he did a number on him, and then the second time went back and did him in a round. So you can imagine the confidence is going through him, and obviously blowing away these oppositions now. He's ready for the world scene, definitely. And I always thought that when David first arrived to me 7 years ago, he was never a fully fledged welterweight. I mean, I'd like to have took him down to light welter. He didn't want to do that. So when it got to the elite level with the welterweights, the likes of Lamont Peterson and Kowalowskis, the size difference on the night was incredible. I mean, there would have been a good stone in it. David won't get in the ring no more than 11 stone. And these elite welterweights, they're getting in the ring at like 12 stone. They were big lads. And I think that was a difference. And I think the Kowalski's defeat was a turning point, really. He learned so much in that fight. Obviously, come away, he was badly hurt. I mean, not the fact so much in the ring, but mentally it went to him, it affected him bad. And he went away and he come back a different fighter.
How does David compare with, all the fighters you've had throughout your career? Obviously, you were a boxer first, but throughout your career as a trainer, and manager, and promoter.
Yeah, with all due respect to the fighters I've had before and worked with, is a different level. You know what I mean? Is a different level. Training him so intense. I mean, doing rounds and rounds on pads with David, it's like sparring him. You know what I mean? It's that physical and that intense, and I've come out there absolutely wringing wet through. You know what I mean? Is a different caliber. The intensity of him. Every shot from round 1 to round 12 is the same force. You know what I mean? His power don't change. He's strong as a bull. And he's, like I said, he's a strong welterweight now. He's getting in that ring at like 11.5 stone, you know what I mean? Or about 11.8. And that's a good weight for David. And I feel like that's the way we're looking now. And I think that'll be the difference when he fights for a world title now. He's a proper welterweight.
And you mentioned, if he gets past Thurman, it'd be the winner of Spencer Ugas for 3 of the 4 major belts at 147 pounds. Who do you fancy to come out on top in those 2, Spencer and Ugas?
I think Ugas is underrated. I've always said that. I think he's a good fighter. I mean, a lot of the when you hear a lot of people talk, they're all saying, "Oh, I'd like to fight Ugas." You know, I mean, out of all the champions, I'd like to fight Ugas, but I think he's underrated. I mean, he's full of confidence now. He's had a few good wins lately, and you know what I mean? It'll be an interesting fight. I mean, you got to favour Spence because, I mean, he's red eye and he's a big lad and all of the way. Harry makes 147, I'll never know. But, I mean, that's that. They do it, don't they? It's remarkable how they make the weight. But you can't write Ugas off. I mean, I definitely think he's got a chance, but you've got to favour Spence. And we'll see what happens. But listen, in boxing, things change all the time. We could get the call to say we're fighting another champion as a voluntary. You don't know, but I think giving David an opportunity for voluntary is a risky fight for the champion.
And has David gone back home now? Is he back with his family?
He's gone to Dubai for a couple of days just to chill out and get the sun, and then obviously he'll fly from Dubai back to Pettigrew. So. That's the route he's taking. He sent me a picture of him today on the beach in Dubai, which has made me a bit sick because I wish it was me. Instead of being back home stressed out with all this matchmaking and that, you know what I mean? But he deserves it. He's a great lad and he deserves a nice break now.
As you mentioned there, the matchmaking side of things has brought you crashing back down to earth with a bit of a thump. What? Just tell us a bit about that, or as much as you can tell us.
Yeah, obviously I matchmake for Sky, don't you? And it's been I've had a few pull-outs today, should I say. So got to get that all together for Saturday, which is easy. Matching's an hard job, especially at the moment. I mean, it's been tough for a while now. I just think there's not enough fighters that's prepared to fight away from home, and you know what I mean. And getting the opportunities for these fighters is hard now to make the right matches. So it's tough, but listen, I'll do it. I'll pull through. I always do.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to that show on Saturday night on Sky. But congratulations, obviously, on David's latest win. And hopefully next time we talk, there will be a WBC eliminator at least ordered, if not in the books.
That's it. Let's hope so. Thanks, Danny.
Cheers, mate. It's always a pleasure.